Welcome to Watch Symposium. I'm Austin. All right, here it is, the GMT Master 2. So how did it go? All right, so I had some issues with it. I wanted the bezel realigned and the accuracy sort of tweaked. And all right, well, I went, okay, I picked up the watch, I looked at it, and I checked it out. I obviously I didn't do a thorough job, okay, but I looked at it, and maybe I walked out of there a little too early because I desperately wanted it to be okay. But I left, okay. Let me just sort of, I got this plastic sleeve for the Vostok I was wearing. I guess if they don't make any money, you get this sort of plastic, you know, uh, sort of like a Ziploc watch case. Yeah, questionable quality, but again, they didn't make any money off of me, so maybe that's why. I got this. Well, it was a bill, but the totals are all zeroed out, so I didn't have to pay anything. But if you're curious what I would have had to pay, well, it says here 6,000 yen for the labor and 16,000 for tweaking the bezel and a regulation. So 22,000 yen, which is about $200. Okay, about $200 for this. But again, I didn't have to pay. All right. So anyway, where was I? Okay, so I picked up the watch. I was going to go to the sports club. I went to the subway. I got on the train. When I left, I was in the middle of the city, and it wasn't really conducive to just in the middle of the city kind of check everything. Like I said, I should have done it a little bit better in the service center. I got on the train. I sort of got into a corner of the train and started fiddling with the bezel. Really checking it out, and it was the same. Yeah, that's right. It was the same. I couldn't believe it. Okay, so I went one stop, got off the train, got back on the train, went back. I got there at exactly 4:30. They closed at 4:30. I walked up. As I was walking up, the woman was getting ready to lock the glass doors that slide open, and she was a bit surprised. I walked in, and I just said, "I'm really sorry, guys, but it's not, the bezel is not straight." And you're probably thinking, man, I would have gone off on him. And in a way, I am sort of surprised I didn't, but I'm glad I didn't. But it was almost like I couldn't quite believe it. It's like, if you've ever experienced dealing with a real fuck up person, right? After a while, you just sort of, the anger just dissipates, and it's like, I don't know, they're just so pathetic that you just sort of throw up your hands and like, okay, let's just try to get through this, you fuck up, right? And that's how I felt. So I went in there, and I just said, look, I'm really sorry about this, but it's not done, okay? And I gave it back, and the guy looked at it, and we talked about it for a minute or so. And he said, okay, well, I'll work on it. And so we went to the back, and so I sat and I waited. And I've got to be honest, I just don't know if they did it. I mean, he said he did it, okay, but it looked exactly the same. And while I was waiting, it took about 10 minutes, and I could hear him pop it off, and then I could hear him pop it back on. And so I'm sure it did come off and go on that particular time. And it took him like 10 minutes to do. So if he didn't do it before, then really, dude, you should have. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to make that charge because I'm not sure. But yeah, what's up? Anyway, so they brought it out. He brought it out again. He hadn't put the bracelet on because I guess maybe he was anticipating me saying, "Now take it back again." But I looked at it, and finally, it was fine. Okay, it finally was fine. It took 3 times, to do it, including the service. And that's it. I said thank you, and I left. And I can tell you now that the bezel is finally aligned. About fucking time. All right, so how's the accuracy? Fantastic, absolutely fantastic. I so I came home. I was really nervous about that. I didn't know if it just kind of sat in a cabinet for 2 weeks, and they were like, yeah, "We're not going to do anything. Just like give it back to him. He's not going to know." But they did tweak the accuracy, and when I came back home, I set it the way I like to set it, and I put it down for the night, right? And I put it face up. And when I got up about 8 hours later, 10 hours later, whatever, I looked at it, and it was it was dead on when I put it down. It was about 3 seconds fast. So I was like, shit, okay, that's not good. I mean, if it's 8 hours and it's 3 seconds fast in 24 hours, okay, what's it gonna be? Um, but I wore it, and for the next 4 days I wore it, and it it was dead on, all right. And for 4 days it was still within 5 seconds. And so I think what happened was it was face up, so it was sort of gaining time. So maybe that trick does work with this movement, which is a 3-1-8-5 movement. Okay. Um, in fact, I left it yesterday face up, and it gained about 5 seconds. Okay, and I've noticed that if I put it, crown up sideways, that it tends to lose time. So that's a good thing. All right, that's a good thing, because I can I can balance. When I wear it, it seems to, I don't know, maybe lose like a half a second a day. So, you know, this is sort of a real, I guess, good situation in the sense that I can, keep it regulated with the positioning. So that didn't seem to work with the sub. So we'll see, we'll see. But anyway, finally, it's like having a different watch. Honestly, it's all up here. I know, but when I look at it, the bezel's right, the accuracy is on. I mean, it really is like having a new watch. And really, why? Because when you look at a watch and there's like regret about how it should have been serviced, oh man, it just grates on you. Okay, so if you guys have learned nothing else, learn this: that when you get a watch from Rolex, be happy with it, and if you're not, go back. And because it changes things, right? It just changes your perspective, and I love it now. All right, so I've also got the Explorer 2. Gonna make another video about that coming up. Thanks for watching. Take care. See you next time.